Folks, the newest Nintendo game, Kirby Air Riders, has released as of November 20th, 2025 for $70. Is it worth it? Did I enjoy it? What do I think so far? We talk about it today. Welcome on into the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast episode. I've been dreading this episode, or looking forward to this episode for a while. It's episode 167. Alright, let's stop. That's the one and only time that we address that. What is on today's show, you may be wondering? Let's freaking discuss. First things first, we're going to dive into some Nintendo news here. We have some news on the Legend of Zelda Movie. We got some news on the Game Awards, which Nintendo games have been nominated for this year's Game Awards show. We dive into that. After that, you will get my first impressions on Kirby Air Riders. I've spent some hours playing it. Let's talk about what I think and maybe should you buy it? Should you ever buy it? Should you skip? And then after that, we dive into the question block segment where I, EmSwizzle, answer your questions you asked me about Nintendo, about life, about whatever. You can skip anywhere in the podcast because there are timestamps down below, but other than that, let's go ahead and get to some Nintendo news to kick things off.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the #1 Nintendo podcast.
And at the start of the Nintendo news segment, for our video listeners, I hope that you will take just a moment to see the holiday decorations we have on set. If I'm being honest, there's not too many, but we do have a Mario snowman up there, and also a snowman, I don't know why they're both snowmen, a snowman squishmallow to kind of ring in the season. Starting December 1st, or the first episode of December, heck, maybe even next week, because it'll be after Thanksgiving, we will have some more. We'll decorate this tree a little bit, change the colors. It'll be nice. But anyways, we are here for Nintendo news and Nintendo news only. Maybe some laughter, but, primarily Nintendo news, all right? So let's dive in. The week of, what was this Monday? That would have been the 17th? Yeah, okay. The week of November 17th, what has come out in the Nintendo world? First things first, I think probably our biggest piece of news that we should dive into, if you're listening to the podcast, you want to hear the biggest piece of news, I think that we can start with it. The Legend of Zelda Movie is currently being filmed in, I believe, New Zealand. Don't have that for you, but I believe that is accurate. And we now have the first official and some unofficial pictures of the movie. So I'll throw these up on screen, or I'll link an article down below for our audio listeners. We can now see the two actors who are Bo Bragison, if I'm saying this right, and old Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Zelda and Link in these official Nintendo released pictures. And I gotta say, if you're looking at these pictures while I'm talking about this, whether you're watching the video version or what's going on, I gotta say, A+ job to whoever is at Nintendo's working on this. Is it Sony? Whoever's making this movie, A+ job. They actually look like Link and Zelda. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. I haven't really looked at everyone's opinion on this. They actually look like Link and Zelda. And so for that, I commend them. This is an A+ job. Honestly, don't have any more thoughts beyond that because we only see two pictures of, one of each of them and then one of them together. So 3 pictures. It doesn't tell us much. They're just in an open field. Can't have any more thoughts than that. But from what I'm seeing, they even got the freaking pointy ears on Zelda, which is expected. I'm just saying, attention to detail, the outfits. It's looking good so far. We just need to see, an official trailer, probably like late next year or something, which is a while away. That's that's like less than a year, 1 year, somewhere in there. We will get our trailer. That's when we can really say whether or not this movie's gonna be. I mean, we still can't even say, oh, it's gonna be great just off the trailer, but we'll get our first actual tell of the entire thing. So until then, we just got 3 pictures to go off of. Now, I will not dive deep into this because this can cause many spoilers for those who do not want the movie spoiled. So don't worry, you're safe here. There are no spoilers in this podcast. But if you want to dig a little deeper, I'm going to link. So how I link articles in this podcast is if you go to the description, you can see there's a link that says sources and links. Click that. It's a big paste bin of links. I'm going to put one link, no pun intended. I'm going to put one link there that takes you to a spoiler, unreleased, unofficial picture that has leaked from the filming of the movie. You can see a character who you could have assumed would be in the movie, but like you can see their outfit, who they are, all that kind of stuff. There are some unofficial images out there. Link down below. You can check that out for yourself if you do want to. Once again, I will say the characters in there you could have assumed would be in the movie, but now you know. Anywho, check back in 2027 for the release of the Legend of Zelda movie. Should be good. I am hoping it is great, and from the looks of it, we're off to a good start. So, like, thankfully it wasn't, you know, like when the Minecraft movie pictures came out, it was kind of like, what the heck is this? I feel like this is the opposite. So, very cool. Next up, in terms of Nintendo news to discuss today, the Game Awards is everyone's favorite show that takes place in December. It's not, you know, Christmas movies. Those aren't your favorite. Charlie Brown Christmas is not your favorite thing to watch in December. It's actually the Game Awards, whether you knew it or not. And the nominees for which games may win certain awards have come out. And we have all of the awards that Nintendo is up for. So, Nintendo, with the whole release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and all this fun jazz, you know, they put out Mario Kart World, they put out Donkey Kong Bonanza, they put out, heck, Kirby Air Riders, although Kirby Air Riders is probably too late to, like, make the cut. They put out a bunch of different games here. Which ones made the Game Awards nominees list? So, let's start. For Game of the Year, Donkey Kong Bonanza is up for Game of the Year. That's big, and I saw some people saying, like, well, why isn't Mario Kart Game of the Year? I feel like Mario Kart's a tough game to win Game of the Year. I feel like if you don't have, like, a story mode or some, like, just groundbreaking, defining, emotional attachment, you know, it's not going to be up here. So, Bonanza is up here, and who is Bonanza competing against? Well, we got, how do you pronounce this game? Claire Obscure Expedition 33, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Gotta be honest, you know, I've heard of Silk Song, I've heard of Hades. I suck, guys. I just suck. Like, I actually just suck. Maybe I don't. Maybe you all can say I don't. But, like, I've never heard of the freaking Claire Obscure game in the Death. I mean, I've heard of Death Stranding. I've never heard of Kingdom Come Deliver. I don't know what these games are. Do I suck? Or does this just mean that I'm more focused on Nintendo games? Like, which one is it? Am I just out of the loop? Should I know what these games are? I don't know the answer to that question. With that said, that is what Bonanza is competing against. Obviously, I'm going to, you know, put my vote that Bonanza should win because I like Nintendo and that's what I do. Not trying to, you know, be a glazer as the kids say. That's just what I am interested in, hence why I have this podcast. So Bonanza has my vote. Then for Best Family Game, Donkey Kong Bonanza is also up for that, along with Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is up for Best Family Game at the Game Awards, and they're both competing against Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. If you're asking me, I think Mario Kart World wins Best Family Game. What do I know? Not much. But I think it's a better family game than anything else on there. I mean, if you're comparing Mario Kart World versus Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, you're gonna give the edge to Mario Kart World, right? So Sonic Racing's out of there. Split Fiction is cool, but I think just the flagship household name of Mario Kart World, you can't lose. The freaking Lego games are fine. I played Lego Party. It was okay. And then Bonanza's a 2-player thing. You know, it's obviously it qualifies for a family game because of that, but I think Mario Kart World is the family game. If it loses that, we got to start looking at these game awards being rigged. I'm sorry. There's no possible way. So Mario Kart World is up for that. And then Mario Kart World is also up for Best Sports/Racing Game. It's not a sports game. It makes the cut for the racing side of that. And it's competing against EA Sports FC 26, which, no. F1 25, haven't played. Rematch, which, once again, I suck, out of the loop, haven't heard of that. And Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, no. So, knowing the Game Awards, having watched, I've never heard of Rematch. It's either going to be that or F1 25, probably. I don't think FIFA is going to win. It's the same game every year. Mario Kart World could win, but they're probably going to save it for like Best Family Game. I don't freaking know. All right, Game Awards nominees are out there, folks. Let me know which game you think is going to win these 3 categories. There are many more categories than this, but none that Nintendo is up for, which is what we care about on this show. So that's kind of what we got there. And then our news after that is the obvious. What we're here for. Kirby Air Riders has released as of November 20th, 2025. Exactly 1 week from my birthday. Fun fact for those who might not have known. I bought it. As you all know, I typically go to Best Buy when I buy my games. I went to Best Buy this morning. I picked up the game. I picked up the Kirby and Warp Star amiibo and the Waddle Dee and oh my gosh, what's his vehicle called? I wrote it down. What is his vehicle? It is the Winged Star. Thank you. I forgot what it was called. I am brand new to Kirby Air Riders, so forgive me for not recalling the name of the vehicle. I only just learned about, recently. So there you go. I got the amiibo. I got the game. I played for some hours. Let's talk about my thoughts right freaking now. Let's transition to the segment where I talk about, should you buy Kirby Air Riders? My thoughts on Kirby Air Riders. All of the above. Let's get to it. All right, my friends, Kirby Air Riders. I will say, out of all the games that have released for the Nintendo Switch 2 thus far, you have Mario Kart World, Bonanza, Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Do you want to count that? I don't know. I think Kirby Air Riders is probably the game I was looking forward to. I would put it in like 4th place. Above that, 3rd would be like Pokemon Legend ZA. Second would probably be Bonanza, honestly. I was looking very much so forward to Mario Kart World, and number 1 was Mario Kart World. 4th in the ranking of most hype for was Kirby Air Riders, and so I was pretty excited. I have both of the amiibo here, which I'm going to talk about later because I have some, thoughts on all of this. And let's go ahead and start with my first impressions on Kirby Air Riders. I do want to stress a few things before we begin very, very fast. Number 1, this is a first impression segment, not a full review. I don't really feel like there's any spoilers in here. Like, there's no, story spoilers, so it's just mostly my thoughts on the game, how it plays, all that kind of stuff. And then also, for our audio listeners, you can most definitely get a great, a great listen here, I should say. But if you do want to watch the video version, I do put up side-by-sides of what I'm talking about while I'm talking about it, so you can get a bit of a better understanding of what I'm saying with the video version. That's all I gotta say. That's it. Let's go ahead. Let's freaking dive in to the Kirby Air Riders first impressions. And so I boot up the game, and I gotta say one thing. I freaking love when game title screens do the most. What I mean by that is, although the title screen is pretty bland in itself, if you don't press any buttons, it plays like a movie, showing you, how city trials work and all that kind of stuff. It's cool. I like that. But actually, when I boot up the game, I hit the A button on the title screen. The first thing I am brought to be doing, mind you, I've not played any of the Kirby Air Riders demos in the last 2 weekends. I haven't played those. I was brought right to the lessons section of the game, which is where they teach you how to play Kirby Air Riders. And while I'm going through all this and I'm like getting to doing all of the lessons and like learning how to play, you can tell right away the game is very incredibly Smash Bros coded. What I mean by that is if you've played Smash Bros, you've navigated the freaking menus. Kirby Air Riders is just like that. It's almost like similar music too, similar sounds, music, like similar like menu style. It's really Smash Bros coded, Smash Bros flavored. You'll get a lot of like Smash Bros reminiscent, even just like when you win, like the freaking winning screen, everything is Smash Bros like. And I don't know if it's Smash Bros coded or if it's Sakurai coded, because we all know Masahiro Sakurai was the brains behind this game. He was also the brains behind about every single Smash Bros game. And the Smash Bros games are like this. Is it Masahiro Sakurai coded or is it Smash Bros coded that is Kirby Air Riders? I don't know. Anywho, that's one thing that I noticed. Let's talk about the lessons. When I was learning to play the game has very, I would say, robust, detailed lessons. It teaches you several times how to do certain moves that it's teaching you. Here's the problem. My first problem with the game, which is not a problem with me, but a problem with my future usage of this game, and that is any game, almost any game, that has lessons, it's fine. I actually enjoy games that you have to learn a lot about and get good at. I like that. But I don't think Kirby Air Riders is a game that I can invite 3 buddies over, pick up and play. They've never played before, and we can all have like an even game where everyone's like, having a great time. I think there's a big learning curve for someone who's never played before. It took me about 10 minutes to get through just the basic lessons, just the basic ones. And then it took me like a few hours to actually like really get half decent at the game. I don't know if that's slow, and I'll talk more, about this later, but I felt like it took me some time before I really could get good and get a real grip on how the game controlled. So I don't know if this is a great pick up and play game. If you're playing it with yourself, if it's just you playing, this is great. I think you got to put some time in to learn, and then over time you'll get better. You play online, it's great. But if you're trying to set up a game night with your brother who has never played, tough one, tough night out, tough night at the office there. But that's my only thing. I wouldn't even really call it a complaint, just like a bit of a block. Whereas like Mario Kart, you can play with anybody. They all know how to play. You hold A, you use items with this button. You can teach them how to drift, and then that's basically it, right? But this is a little bit different here. Even though the game only uses like 2 buttons, they said, or was it 3 buttons? It's still kind of complex. So that's how I feel about that. Let's keep moving on. After the lessons, I went straight for the air ride mode, which is going to be the classic racing mode where you pick a character, pick a vehicle, and you're racing. I mean, you can race offline or online. You're racing on maps. This is the core gameplay mode of Kirby Air Riders. What are my thoughts on all of this? My first thought was it's fun, but fast, but pretty freaking hectic. In my experience, maybe I am not good, maybe I am the average player. I would love to hear most of you, all of you, chime in the comments down below what your experience was. My experience was it took me a while to, like, as I said earlier, get half decent. At first, I thought this game was hard or I sucked. One of the two must be happening. As I played 3, 4, 5, 6, I won't say 7, 6 races, I began to just get better over time at boosting, at knowing when to hold B, like start holding B, knowing how to freaking stay on track, remembering to hit B to inhale enemies, things like that. I just kind of picked it up as I kept on playing, so there is, again, that learning curve there. But after a while, after I've gotten the hang of Air Ride, it's fun. It's fun. It controls very unique. It's not like Mario Kart. A lot of people are comparing Kirby Air Riders to Mario Kart because they are both racing games by Nintendo on the Nintendo Switch 2. But Kirby Air Riders is almost made as if they were like, all right, let's try to make this not like Mario Kart. That's kind of how it feels to me. So Air Ride feels fresh. Once you're used to it, once you're feeling good about the controls, it's a fun time. I played online, and I did my first online match when I thought I sucked, and then I realized, like, oh, I actually don't suck that bad. Everyone in my lobby is kind of like not the greatest at this game, so I kind of felt like I sucked until I played online. Then I was like, okay, maybe it's not just me. So once again, learning curve, but Air Ride is fun. And then after that, I dipped my toes into the Top Ride game mode, and it's very simple what it is. It's essentially the exact same Air Ride mode, but as is in the name, it is a top-down angle, like a bird's eye view of your race, and it's like a much smaller track and map. So it's a top-down bird's eye view, almost kind of like a slanted bird's eye view race, and I actually enjoyed this game mode a lot. It's not groundbreaking. It's not incredibly different from the Air Ride mode. It's not the reason this game is $70, but I found some good skill success in the Top Ride mode. I came first place like 3 different times in a row online. Like, I was kind of decent at Top Ride. Once again, if you got a few buddies over and you're trying to play Kirby Air Riders, I don't know how many times you're playing Top Ride. I think Air Ride is going to be the most premium experience, if not City Trial, which we'll talk about. But Top Ride is a cool side mode, I would call it. Once again, I don't think you're starting off with Top Ride. I think that's more of a side thing. So that's how I feel about it. Once again, not game-changing. But let's talk about City Trials, because I dove into City Trials, and I'm going to put this out here to preface this segment. I watched the first Kirby Air Riders Direct, which is where they talked a lot about City Trials and all that. Didn't watch the second one, so the first Direct was back in August, right? It's been a little while since I learned what City Trials were, and I went into this almost blind. I honestly forgot how they worked. And so I get into City Trials, and from my now understanding, you get thrown in, and in my experience, there was always a 5-minute timer. I've seen some people say that it could be a 3 to 7-minute timer. In my experience, there's a 5-minute timer, and you just cruise around the map, which is called Skya, and you gather power-ups. You find different vehicles and you steal people's vehicles, and there's freaking UFOs flying around that you gotta avoid, or else you might lose your power-ups. By the way, there are power-ups. You collect power-ups, which can enhance your stats, and that's kind of what you do for the 5 minutes. Find the vehicle that you want to get, because they all have different stats, so you want to I'll explain why you choose different vehicles, but you pick a vehicle, get a bunch of power-ups, and then after the 5 minutes are over, you are able to pick, what are they officially called? They're called events, stadiums, challenges, events. Let's call them events. Call them events, all right? You can pick events, which could be one of the following: Air Glider, Destruction Derby, Drag Race, High Jump, Kirby Melee, Target Flight, Single Race, or versus King DDD. You pick one of these modes, and essentially, with this new vehicle that you found in those 5 minutes of cruising around, with those badges and power-ups that you have, you are now supposed to compete in an event. The one that I always chose was Target Flight, which is the one that you may have seen in the Direct, where it's a challenge where you fly, and then you have to aim your vehicle at a certain number of points. If you hit that number of points on a big old board, that's how many points you get. You do it twice, game over. I liked that a lot. And so the point of City Trial is to get the best vehicle and power up or patch combo to then do the best in the event of your choosing. So if I knew I was going to pick Target Flight, or what's it called? Target Flight, yes, that's what it's called. I would get the best gliding combination I could get, and then go do it. I've also seen online, it's a lot of luck. Everything in City Trial is a lot of luck. You can mix some strategy in and know kind of what you're doing, but a lot of it's luck. My thoughts on City Trial itself after playing a few times? Not my favorite mode. Not my favorite. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't love the randomness about it, which I guess is like the main appeal. I don't love that. And also, once again, I saw some articles saying it's a 3 to 7 minute timer for like how long you roam around the map looking for vehicles and stuff. Am I the only one that thinks 5 minutes or any longer is way too much? Like, I'm roaming around this island, Skya, for 5 minutes. That seems kind of long. No, like, bro, give me 3 minutes. 3-minute timers. Go find vehicles, go find power-ups, done. I think 5 is a little bit it's too many minutes. That's my opinion. Not a huge deal, but a problem. That's what I think. And yeah, I just didn't find myself having as much fun. Maybe that's just because early on I didn't know what I was doing, but even after that, it just wasn't one of my favorite modes. So I don't know how much I'm going back to that one. I will definitely give it a few more shots, but if I don't love it even after that, then maybe we'll drop off City Trial. I know that's a pretty big mode that people like, but maybe it just wasn't for me. Wasn't for me. And then the other mode we can talk about is the road trip mode, which is the game's story mode, essentially. And I really like it, and we'll talk about it. So, starting off road trip, you get a nice cutscene. Won't dive into that. I'll save all of the experience and story stuff all for you to enjoy on your own first playthrough. Essentially, how story mode works is you pick a character and you start off on a warp star, which is the default vehicle you can see on the video podcast right here. You start off on the warp star, and you're thrown into this 3-lane pathway. This is how story mode starts. And in front of you are 3 different choices. So for example, if I'm Kirby on the warp star and I'm on this 3-lane pathway, I can pick any of the lanes, and in front of me are like different challenges. So let's say one challenge is like, target practice. Get over 50 points in this mini game. I can go down that path and like try to do that challenge. Or in the middle lane is like, defeat this Kirby enemy in 30 seconds. I can do that challenge. Or in the right lane, it's like, challenge, whatever. It's one more challenge. You can pick which challenge that you want to do by going in one of the 3 lanes. You do that challenge, and you and your vehicle, your, warp star or whatever, slowly upgrade. You start the story mode with default stats, all 0 stats, and then you level up with each challenge that you do. Over time, you and your vehicle get stronger. You can do more things, story mode stuff, blah, 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 blah. I won't spoil it for you. I think that's a neat little way to do story mode without being overly robust. I mean, it'd be nice if it was overly robust, but like if you're not going to be like that, if you're not going to make it like a emotional Donkey Kong Bonanza, which no one is expecting, this is great. I like story mode. I like road trip. I think it was good. After you defeat 12 challenges, you get to fight a freaking boss. There's rest areas where you can upgrade your stats as well. Waddle Dee's shop is popping. It's a detailed, nice story mode. Don't expect it to be the reason you paid $70 for the game, because if you do that, you might not come out too content. But it's a fun try. Even if you don't complete the entire thing, it's a fun thing to try out if you're just bored of the standard races, you're bored of City Trial, your friends ain't online, no one bought Kirby Air Riders, whatever it is. Try out Road Trip. It's cool. Now, I also want to talk about the amiibo that came, or not came with the game. This is the furthest thing that came with the game. The $50 each amiibo. I bought both because I wanted to talk about them, and I'm going to talk about them. Let's talk about the amiibo figures. So, on launch day, there's more to come, but we got Kirby and the Warp Star amiibo, and we have Waddle Dee, and I also forgot the vehicle name, and Waddle Dee and the Winged Star. We got these two amiibo on launch day. The Kirby one is cool. It's detailed. Kirby spins around. By the way, my Kirby amiibo spins around. Do any of you have this out there? Can somebody verify that this is normal? Is my Kirby broken, or is he meant to spin like this? Can somebody please comment? Because I'm worried for my Kirby's well-being over here, okay? So, that's cool. Now, the appeal of the amiibo, if you're watching the video version, this is best for the visual demonstration. You can take off the Kirby off of the Warp Star vehicle and put him onto the Winged Star vehicle. There you go. He's on there now. And you can scan them in like that. It all registers. It's not just like for fun, for gimmicky fun, you know? It actually works like that. So that's a great selling point of the amiibo. It's nice and handy. If you played Skylanders Swap Force back in the day, you would get some nostalgia. I feel it heavy. So, $50 amiibo. Max, are they worth it? So in-game, the amiibo work a lot like how they did in Smash Bros. Ultimate, and even, Wii U, if you want to count that, 3DS, Smash Bros. 4 and 5. Wait, 4 and 5? Yeah, I think that's right. Yes. Okay. What you do, you scan in your amiibo, and they're kind of like, excuse me, they're kind of like companions, if you want to call them that, where instead of CPU, you can scan them in, they can race with you. After the race, they level up. You can give them hats and stuff. They're cute little companions that you can level up. And who knows, maybe if you're playing with some buddies, you can scan them in and they will defeat your buddies handedly. It'll be great. I don't know that these are worth $50 each. I don't know. Like, they're cool figures. I'm going to put these on my shelf, and they're nice shelf pieces. If you're in love with the game, maybe you get these. I don't see enough value in the game to make these worth $50 each. I see enough value in the game to maybe make these at the most 30. At the most. You know what? I mean, because they're so detailed in like the whole swap thing, at the extreme most, $34.99. 50 is insane. But it shouldn't even be $34.99. These in a real happy Nintendo world should be like, call it 25. 25. With how like the swapping thing works, and then you can argue like, oh, Max, when Skylanders Swap Force came out, those were still like normal price Skylanders. Yeah, but these are also like, I would argue a little more detailed. You can see like Waddle Dee's hat is like a different type of like material. So they are very detailed, and I would say a lot more physically bigger than any sort of Skylanders Swap Force. So I think 25 would have been the good price for these. So half the price what they actually cost. Not good at all. If you're in love with the game, you're playing it for hours, or you plan to play it for hours, go ahead, buy an amiibo. You won't regret it. It's just crazy that just one of these, with the Kirby and the vehicle, is almost as much as the game. More than half of the game's cost. That's crazy. So, once again, if you love the game, buy it. If you don't, I probably wouldn't buy it. Because even if you do buy it, I don't know how many other places you're really going to use a Kirby amiibo. Like what? Mario Kart World doesn't take amiibo. Where are you going to use this? Smash Bros, maybe? Does it even work in Smash? Probably. I don't know. Not worth your 50. However, in the same breath, let me add this on. In the same breath, I've never seen a game use amiibo this well in a while. And it's not like Kirby Air Riders uses amiibo in some revolutionary way. But any game nowadays that does use amiibo, I feel like they just unlock minor stuff. I got a few in-game unlockables for my online player card from these guys, which isn't worth $50, but like they actually give you decent stuff, and plus they like work as companions. It gives you more than what you might be used to for Amiibo, is what I'm saying. Once again, not revolutionary and not worth $50, but more than any other game right now on Switch 2 is giving you for Amiibo. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza Amiibo. What did that let you get Pauline's dress early? It's not even like the Donkey Kong Bonanza Amiibo gave you exclusive stuff. It gave you something that you can get in-game early. So what was the point? Like, that's what I'm comparing this to. These actually are kind of fun, you know? So that's weird. Anywho, that's kind of my whole spiel, my thoughts on Kirby Air Riders. For $70, $69.99. I always do like to give a rating at the end of my first impressions segment, and this is not a review score, but a first impressions rating from the Mario Matter podcast. What would I rate Kirby Air Riders? Just off the first few hours. It started off for me as like a 7 out of 10. The game is smooth. Excuse me. It runs at a pretty consistent 60 frames per second. I saw it drop a few times in like some, intense parts of the game, city trials, stuff like that. Pretty smooth 60 frames per second, runs well, looks good. It started off as a 7 out of 10. I think as I got better, the game became overall more enjoyable, and I probably land closer to an 8, maybe 8.5. I land right around there. I'm not getting the feel from this game that it's anything revolutionary or game-changing or groundbreaking, which maybe it's not meant to be that, but that's why it's an 8 and not like a 9 or anything like that. So 8's a good score. I mean, it's just not anything that I really haven't seen before. Like if you've played Kirby Air Riders, you're not in shock at this game, if that makes sense. So that kind of explains the 8 out of 10 score, which is once again still a good score. Still a good score. But that's kind of where I stand. So Kirby Air Riders, should you buy it? Let's talk about that now. Should you buy it? I'd say buy Kirby Air Riders if you are into the whole racing game thing, because that is what you're doing for most of the game. If you're a big Kirby fan, which, by the way, all these points are very, very obvious. Buy it if you're a Kirby fan. Yeah, obviously. But I'm just saying, if you're not either of those two things, I don't know why you'd buy this game. If you're not, 1, a Kirby fan, a big Kirby fan, or 2, into racing games. I don't know why you're playing if you don't fit one of those categories. Should you not buy it? Well, you shouldn't buy it if $70 is a lot to you, which is most people. If Jeff Bezos is not listening, or Elon Musk, 70 is a lot. So if you're not Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or any other billionaire, reconsider your $70. Maybe you'll want to buy Donkey Kong Bonanza if you don't have that yet. Maybe you'll want to save it for Metroid Prime 4, something like that. Watch out for your $70. What am I even saying here? Don't buy it if your $70 is being saved for something else, I'm trying to say. Don't buy it if here's a good point. If you played Mario Kart World and you kind of fell off of that game pretty quick, don't buy this. Because although it's very different, it's a racing game, and the story mode's not 50 hours, 1,000 hours long, you're going to fall off eventually. It's not a game that you can keep on going back to, and it doesn't offer an emotional experience that is to die for and pay $70 and everyone should play it. It's not any of that. So I'd say you got to be into racing games, which you can be a casual racing game fan, or be a big old Kirby fan, or even just like a Sakurai fan. Sakurai put a lot of work into this game, and we can all respect that. We all love Sakurai. So if you like his work, that's your third reason to buy it. With that said, folks, let's go ahead and get to the question block segment where I, EmSwizzle, answer your questions you freaking asked me. Let's go ahead, let's get to it. My friends, you have made it to the question block segment where I, EmSwizzle, answer your questions you all left for me. If you want to ask a question to appear on the podcast, there are a few ways to do so. Number one, every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I post on my YouTube community tab, hey, taking questions. You can comment your question there, or you can join the Discord server link down below and ask your questions in there. Or the most straightforward, easy way to do it that you can do right this second is open up your email provider and email Mario Matter questions with an S at the end, questions@gmail.com. That is Mario Matter questions@gmail.com. Those are the 3 ways to ask questions. And we have questions from all over the place. YouTube, Discord, email here. GUEPC asks, how many Nintendo characters can you name in 60 seconds? Guess how many, then do the challenge. All right, this is interesting. 60 seconds. Now, here's what I'm going to factor in. I'm going to do this challenge right now live. I got to factor this in, though. So most people are probably going to say, like, yeah, I can name 30 characters, or like even more, like 35 characters in a minute. You have to factor this. I do pretty bad at challenges when I'm on the clock. Something about being on the clock makes it really tough. And you start forgetting characters that you would know if you were not on the clock. So I'm going to guess Give me 25, which is not a lot for a Nintendo YouTuber in 1 minute. But I'm going to guess 25. All right, ready? 1 minute timer. 3. Wait. How am I going to count how many characters? Okay. Oh. I have the stopwatch button. Each time that I name one, I'll hit the button. All right, ready? So, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. I have to do a stopwatch. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Mario, Luigi, Toad, Bowser, Peach, Daisy, Koopa Troopa, Isabelle, Tom Nook, Wash. I almost said freaking Washbuckler because I saw him right there. Louie, Olimar, Chibi Robo, Kirby, Waddle Dee, King Dedede, Gulliver, Fret from Animal Crossing, Blathers, Wario, Waluigi, Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl, can I say that? Yellow Toad for the heck of it. Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Pauline. See this. Now I'm stuck. Bulborb, freaking I'm stuck now. Jingle from Animal Crossing, Jack from Animal Crossing, Franklin from Animal Crossing, Minta the Squirrel from Animal Crossing. Does that count? Oh man. All right, time's up. I named 32. Now, here's the thing. Do Animal Crossing villagers count? They are Nintendo characters. I'm going to count them. I will also admit, I definitely was scrambling and may have half cheated. Because you also got to take in the fact I have Nintendo characters all around me in this room, in the studio. So I did definitely look around a little bit. So if you want to factor out the whole me looking around for inspiration, I named 32. You can say that I named 25. If you take out -7 for all the ones I might have seen in my room, -7, 25. So 32 was my count. If you want to take out the cheating, 25. That was fun. Thank you, GUEPC, for the question. Let's freaking go. Comment down below if I did good or was that bad, or did I cheat with all the Animal Crossing characters? I don't even know. Crazy Train the Insane says or asks, hey Max, I have a problem. As you know, Black Friday is coming up and Nintendo is doing a big sale. Are they really? I have not actually looked into Nintendo's Black Friday sales. I don't know what they're doing. 2 of the games on sale for $29.99 are Mario Odyssey and Mario the Thousand Year Door. I only want to get one of these games though. Though I would say that Mario Odyssey is a more iconic and better game, I did just recently beat the main story at a friend's house. I've never played Thousand Year Door before, though. I'm not sure which one I should get because I'm probably never going to see a better deal for Mario Odyssey, but Thousand Year Door would provide a completely new experience. Which one do you think I should get? Interesting. Well, I mean, the context that you provided makes this pretty easy for me. I think if you already beat Mario Odyssey, you should get Thousand Year Door, only because, like, let's say, here's how I think about it. Here's how, little me would have handled this. If you buy Mario Odyssey, you already beat the game. You already beat it. You're going to have it, and you're going to be happy that you have it, and that you've collected it, and you can play it whenever, and play it for fun. But in all honesty, I don't know that you're going to get more fun out of Mario Odyssey now that you've already beat it, as opposed to buying a brand new game in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. If you already beat Odyssey, are you going to beat it again? I would land on no. I don't know you personally, but I would think that maybe you wouldn't beat it again, like right away. So my answer is Thousand Year Door, but also don't discount. Thousand Year Door is a freaking masterpiece of a game. That's got to be, like, for me, top 15 Nintendo games of all time? 20? That game's great. Thousand Year Door is great. Thousand Year Door is also pretty long. Not like, 80 hours, but like long as in 35? Is it in there? Which, once again, may not be considered long, but compared to, like, I don't know, Mario Wonder, which is not very long. Something like that, right? It's a longer game, so you'll get good enjoyment out of that. And I just think that's one of the best games that you can buy for your $60 right now. For those who may not have it on Switch, I think that's a great game you can buy. People are always talking about, which Switch 2 games should I buy? Check to see if you have Thousand Year Door first, because that's a great one. It's not a Switch 2 game, or even a Switch game. It's GameCube. But, check if you have it, because it's a good freaking game, and the remake is awesome. The dialogue is a joy to read. I loved Thousand Year Door. I forget which chapter it is because it was a year ago, but the chapter where it was the wrestling arena, that was a banger. That was a freaking banger. So Thousand Year Door is great. Gotta love it. All right, Landon asks, "Hey Max, I have 2 questions for you. I've been listening to the podcast for about a year now, and I was wondering, have you ever thought about having subscribers/listeners on the pod via Zoom call?" I've not put serious thought into it. And that's for a couple reasons. I think number one, if I had people who I don't know on the show, I think it'd be tough because you would get a lot of people who would just come on and scream swear words and then, hang up. And then you would get some people who actually are down to chat. I'm not calling anyone out, but they would just be, and listen, I would be the exact same way, so I don't blame anybody, but they would just realistically be a little bit too nervous. I've had that happen before, which kind of creates for, like, not the most entertaining show. Listen, I would get nervous too. I'm just saying, like, it just is what happens. I've done similar things when I was much smaller on YouTube, like live call-ins and stuff. It does happen like that. And it just might be a bit of a mess to edit, or if we streamed it, that'd be bad because anybody could say whatever they want and it's all live. So it'd just be tough. Who knows? Never say never, but it's not currently in the plans. I did used to do last year, people could leave like voicemails as questions. So instead of these questions, you could leave like a voicemail and I would play your voice on the podcast. But not enough people did it, so I kind of killed it off. Most of our questions would be written questions, and we'd get like maybe 1 to 2 voicemails. So at that point, it was kind of like, let's just kill it, because if it's not being used by more than like 5 people a week, it's not really worth keeping. And it also costs some money to operate, so we killed that off. And yeah, it's not in the plans, but never say never. Your second question is, if you could only choose 3 Switch 2 games to buy that are coming out in the next 6 months, which ones and why? So, like, not games that are already out, but games that are coming out. Gotcha. Okay. in the next 6 months? That's a tough question because I don't even know what's coming out in the next. Well, all right, here we go. Mario Tennis Fever, Metroid Prime 4. If you do not have it, Animal Crossing New Horizons because of the Switch 2 edition. But if that doesn't count, do we even? When's the freaking Yoshi game coming out? That's next spring. I'm gonna sit here and assume next spring means March, April, or May, which is in the next 6 months. So I'm gonna say Yoshi in the Mysterious Book. Those are my 3. Am I forgetting something? I don't think so. All right, there we go. Trent asks, have you been to Nintendo World yet? Ah, man. Guys, I've never been to Super Nintendo World. And, like, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, man, why have you never been? I don't know. I have not been to the state of Florida or California ever since it's been open. I've had no opportunity. I rarely take vacations as is. I shouldn't say rarely, like 1 to 2 a year. That's good. I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful. I'm just saying, like, out of the trips I do a year, one of them is annual, so it's like the same trip every single year. The second one is like a random one. But my choice wouldn't be Florida or California. I just don't go to those places, which is where, Super Nintendo World is. I just haven't gotten myself to go there. Something, all the above. I have all of the above excuses for why I've not gone yet. Do I feel like I'm missing much? Not really. I can get a power-up bracelet, go hit the question blocks. I don't know what I'm missing. The rides are cool. I guess I'm missing that, but like, it's nothing that's going to change my life, if that's, a good way to put it. So I'm not losing sleep over it, but yeah, I've not been yet. Finally, Lovey101 Dovey says, I just hope you're having a good day. We hope you're having a good day too, Lovey101 Dovey. Thank you so much for listening to the Mario Matter, folks. That is it for episode 167. I know the streets have been waiting for this episode, for this number. What are the chances that episode 167 comes at a time where the 6-7 meme is very much still alive? I feel like 6-7 is kind of dying. I feel like it's definitely dying down. It was a big problem in like October. October, like 6-7 hit its peak. I think now it's on the decline. I think in December, you won't hear it as much. Calling it now. I think by end of February, it's gone. You won't ever hear a 6-7 again. I'm calling it now, all right? So we'll check back. Someone set a reminder for February 28th or, whatever the freaking, is it leap year next year? I don't freaking know. The last day of February, everyone set a reminder to ask me on the question block segment whether or not I believe 6-7 is mostly gone. And we'll see if I was right or if I was horrendously wrong. If I was wrong, I will take the L on the chin, but we'll freaking see. Folks, have an amazing week. This is the last episode before to make a cringe joke that you probably heard in first grade, I'm gonna one-up my age. That's stupid. My birthday is on Thanksgiving, for those who don't know, and it's next Thursday. That is when Thanksgiving is. And yeah, I turned the big 19. I turned 19. That's gonna be good, and I'm excited for it. In terms of a podcast next week, probably won't be a guest. Most people are celebrating Thanksgiving, and I've had Hamza, who listens to these, has told me, get a UK YouTuber on because they don't do Thanksgiving. I could, but in the days that I'm supposed to record this podcast, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, are mostly days I'm just trying to chill, and guest episodes take more effort. I'm not sitting here saying I don't want to put in effort for you guys, but I also would like a few days off. My birthday, Black Friday shopping day. I would like a couple days to still do this podcast, but not put in like max effort because, homie needs a little break as well. Homie is me, by the way. So probably a solo episode next week, just recapping anything that happened. Do expect it to be rather short because I doubt any big news will come out next week because it is Thanksgiving, but I will give you all something to listen to unless I get sick or something, which please no. Anywho, that is it. I will see you all next Saturday for even more Nintendo goodness. If you celebrate, have an amazing Thanksgiving, have an amazing week. I'll see you all soon. Adios.